Hey guys, this is Rudy for Bester Investor. So, I know you probably are quite used to me talking about Occidental Petroleum, and maybe most of you still call me Mr. Oxy, but from time to time I do also have other interests, and even though they are mostly energy related, um, they do sometimes relate to other um, type of plays that may not necessarily be obvious. But now, if you've been following the channel, you know that I sometimes talk about the my basket of uranium stocks, for instance, and that's a kind of a speculative play for me. But most of the time, my fundamental longs include predominantly financials and energy, and they kind of 50-50 in my portfolio. And when I say 50-50, I actually mean 40-40, because they together they occupy about close to 80% of my total portfolio. And of that, it's 50-50. In other words, about half of it is energy and the other half is financials. I talk about the financials sometimes. I have quite a few. I have a few banks, and I have a few life cos, so life insurance companies, and a couple of sort of asset managers in terms of my financial stocks. On the energy side, by now, you probably are getting quite bored with the fact that because I repeat this all the time, I have a few big ones. I have Occidental Petroleum, Total, I have Pembina, I have Energy Transfer, I have Enbridge. Enbridge has been a foundational stock for me for many years, and then I have that basket of uranium stocks that are smaller. What I wanted to do today is just share with you this article that came across my desk yesterday. Is the world's hottest oil play about to surprise markets again? Now, there are a few people, including on my Twitter profile, who are very familiar with the first one that comes up in this article, which, by the way, the source is oilprice.com, and this was posted yesterday evening. It says a 20-minute read. I'm going to try not to hold you for 20 minutes, but I do want to share some of these with you. It's really, really cool stuff. It's interesting. The Kavango Basin, I'm going to come back to that one in just a minute. Announcements on Friday by the junior explorer behind what we consider is the most exciting onshore play in a decade. What exactly is this? After stunning markets with 2 consecutive confirmations of active petroleum systems in Namibia's giant Kavango Basin, Reconnaissance Energy Africa, which you can buy on the Toronto TSXV, is Toronto Stocks Venture, in other words, for small cap companies. Reconnaissance, by the way, has a market cap of about $1 billion. So it's small, but it's not that small. It's a trades on the Venture Exchange under the ticker symbol RECO, R-E-C-O. Reconnaissance Energy Africa is RECO, and over the counter OTC markets, you can buy it as RECAF. So for me, I have the ability to actually trade and open a position in Reconnaissance Africa, Energy Africa in Canada, because I have a Canadian brokerage account as well, or otherwise I can do it in the US under RECAF. So I can buy either or if I were to open a position in this particular company. Has now initiated an ambitious 450-kilometer 2-dimensional seismic acquisition, and expects to release more comprehensive results from their first well, and launched an impressive community water well drilling program in Namibia. Why is that important? Well, this is sort of a combination of good ESG, in other words, when we talk about the environment and social governance programs that they're running, they are not only drilling for energy, but they are also in conjunction with Namibia state partner NAMCOR, doing a whole variety of other things that are of interest to the population at large and will benefit the population at large. I want to go into the map just for a second here, because I just want to show you where this thing is. So, well, for those of you who don't know, I was actually born and raised in Cape Town in South Africa, which is there on the southernmost tip of Southern Africa. The Kavango Basin is located here. And when I say here, it sort of overlaps Namibia and Botswana. When I was a child and Africa was very colonialized, Namibia was also known, or was known at that point in time, as Southwest Africa. And it actually functioned almost as a province of South Africa. Of course, the area is marred by conflict, and the conflict is almost entirely political. Angola used to be a Portuguese colony. Namibia used to be Southwest Africa, which was predominantly a German colony or German colonized area. South Africa was colonized by the British. And by the way, it's those European superpowers who drew these strange borders that look like they've been drawn with a ruler, as opposed to being a natural boundary like a mountain range or a river or something of that nature. And then on the other side of the coast, you have the country of Mozambique over here. And Mozambique was also a Portuguese colony. And then you have Zimbabwe, which used to be called Rhodesia, and that was also a British colony. So England kind of occupied the southernmost area of Southern Africa, where I was born and raised. And one of the primary reasons why they did that is because of the sea route, which effectively connected, if I zoom back just a little bit, Europe to Asia. So, of course, the Asian continent with large countries like China and India, in days gone by, you couldn't take a high-speed train or a quick flight there. You had to go by ocean, and the only way that you could really go prior to them building the Suez Canal up here in Egypt to kind of shorten the distance a little was to go around the southernmost tip of South Africa. And anyway, that's just a little bit of geography for you. So when we talk about the Kavango Basin, it's actually over here, and the Kavango Basin is between Namibia and Botswana. Let me go back to the article here. The company reports a 450-kilometer seismic program. Importantly, 95% of the seismic program will be conducted on existing roads over 10 seismic lines. For the past week, Recon Africa, working with Canada's most established seismic provider, Polaris Geophysical, has been testing the first line before moving into full acquisition mode. What's more interesting about this story here is that let's say shareholders have been anticipating additional results for the first well, and they expect they won't be disappointed. On the ESG front, as I just mentioned a minute ago, it doesn't get much better than this. They're working closely with national and local governments in ways desired to immediately improve living conditions for Kavango residents. Namibia, which has never produced a barrel of oil in its history, has a lot to look forward to, including a series of new water wells for communities that haven't had any nearby access due to a lack of resources for drilling. This was one of RECO's first moves in its host country. On July the 30th, Recon Africa launched its expanded water well drilling program, working together with the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, as well as the local Kavango governors. Earlier on in the exploration process, Recon Africa drilled 4 community water wells, and on Friday it announced drilling on an expanded 20 water well program with 8 initial locations selected, and bidding among local water well drilling companies already concluded. Drilling of the first 8 wells, all to be solar powered, will begin next week and will be completed during the second week of August for a cost of 355,000 Canadian dollars, which is about 275,000 American dollars or so. The other thing that's important to note here about RECO is that short sellers have failed to bring the stock down, but that does not mean that they have not been trying. They have run out of time to cover. It's a situation that has led the short sellers to arrange massive organized social media and other campaigns against Recon Africa. That is to be expected when a junior company stakes its claim on a super major sized basin that has world-class geologists jumping on board over what they have seen. But it has been an uphill battle for the short sellers, given that 2 renowned geoscientists, Bill Cathy and Daniel Jarvie, have staked their reputations on this one. Cathy finding it would be very surprising not to hit big oil, and Jarvie estimating that the basin has generated billions of barrels of oil. It's a fully funded 4-well drilling campaign that is the highlight of the exploration summer, and initiating the 2 huge 2D seismic acquisition is a major step. It concludes here by saying this week, we think investors can gear up to be impressed and be rewarded again with additional results from the first well, for which Recon Africa has already confirmed an active petroleum system. So guys, I'm not sure if you are invested in Reconnaissance Energy Africa. I know a few of the people that I communicate with on a reasonably decent and regular basis, including my Twitter friend Aldous Huxley. Talks about RECO quite often. I know the shorts are absolutely being squeezed on this one. It's not a good place to be. If you had initiated a position in RECO about a year ago, you could have opened that position at about $1 per share. It's currently trading at over $11 the last time I looked. So it's had a huge uptick over the last 12 months. Anyway, now that you know a little bit about the company and you've learned a little bit of information that you might not have known before, let me know what you think, and let me know if you think this is something that you want to get long into. I'd be interested in your thoughts. I look forward to your comments. Have a great day. This is Rudy for Best Investor signing off, saying thanks for watching. Bye-bye.